Alright, so tomorrow I want to make some hummus. And what I've got here is I've got 1 cup of chickpeas. Now, if you'll notice, these are the little bitty ones. They're not the ones you see at the Mexican grocery market that are labeled garbanzo. These are the little tiny chickpeas. You can usually find these at Middle Eastern markets or something like that. Anyway, I've sorted through them. I've looked to make sure that everything was good. And what I got to do now is I got to wash them off. You don't want to skip this step because quite often they're really dirty. Alright, my beans are clean. Put them in a pot. I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of baking soda. And we're going to put a bunch of water in here, because these things are going to swell up quite a bit overnight. And we're going to let these soak over all night. There we go, that should be enough. Stir that to mix that water just a little bit. There we go. See you in the morning. Okay, I drained the chickpeas, rinsed them off one more time. I let them drip dry for a couple of minutes, just so that there's not a whole lot of water left in them. I've got a pan heating up here. It's about a medium-high temperature. Put our chickpeas in there, and then we're going to put half a teaspoon of baking soda in here with them. Sprinkle that around. And I've got 7 cups of water here ready. You can use like 6 or 7 cups of water. Exact measurements really are not that important. Now we're going to stir these around for just a couple of minutes to kind of cook that baking soda onto them a little bit, I guess you could say. Let's go ahead and crank that heat up. Alright, my chickpeas have dried off, starting to toast just a little bit. I don't want them to toast too much, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my water in here. Now we're going to cook these until they're tender. It should take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half. It's going to depend upon your altitude, the age of your chickpeas. There's a whole lot of variables. So anyway, we're just going to cook these until they're tender. But as things start to come up to the top, we're going to skim that off. If there's any skins or foam or anything like that, we're going to keep skimming that off while they cook. Alright, our chickpeas are cooking away. I've already skimmed a bunch of foam off of them. That kind of happens right after they start boiling. Anyway, I've got a 1/4 cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice. And now I've got some tahini here. As you can see, this is oily. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this up because I need oil and the paste. So anyway, I'm going to mix this up and I'll get back with you. Alright, so now my tahini's all mixed up. It's quite the chore. It looks like peanut butter now. And that's what we're looking for. You can have a little chunk or two here or there. That's fine because we're going to put this in a blender anyway. But I'm going to use about 1/2 cup of this. You can use anywhere from a 1/4 cup to a cup or a little more. You know, the tahini and garlic portion are really going to be up to you. And speaking of garlic, I have 2 tablespoons, or not 2 tablespoons, I have 2 cloves of garlic that I've chopped up. Those are nice big cloves. You need garlic in here. But you don't want too much garlic. You don't want it to be when somebody takes a bite of it, it takes their head off. Same with the lemon juice. You want those fresh flavors of the real garlic, the real lemon juice, but you don't want them to be overpowering. Anyway, we're going to mix these up and we're going to let this kind of sit, and that way these flavors start to come together. Okay, the chickpeas are cooked, so we're going to turn that off. Now, as you can see, I skimmed off quite a bit of foam. This last little bit here, that's not really going to be a problem. I'll show you what we're going to do next. We're going to take our chickpeas, we're going to dump them out of this hot water. Let them cool off a little bit so that I can handle them. Alright, now I've got this little bitty blender thing here, so I'm going to work in small batches. Put a few in here at a time. Blend them up. After a batch gets blended up, we're going to add some of our paste mixture in here. I figured this is going to take about 3 batches, so I'm going to do a third of our paste mixture, and then we're going to blend this in. Okay, I've got all my batches mixed up. I've got one thing, a little bit more to do. I want a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin. While this is still hot, I want to put that in there. Then I'm going to give this a mix, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for at least half an hour, but I really like an hour or 2. But I'm going to put plastic over it. I'm going to mash it down to where there's not an air. Anyway, I want the plastic film touching the hummus. Keeps the air kind of like an avocado. Anyway, you guys get the idea. Okay, so now my hummus has been in the refrigerator for a while. As you can see, it's a little bit thick, a little bit thicker than what I really need. I'll take a little bit of ice water. And we'll just mix this in until it's to the consistency that I want. Alright, so now I've got this to the consistency that I like. Now I'm going to take a little olive oil, put on some flat leaf parsley that I have here. I'm going to go ahead and start plating this up. I'm going to try to make this look pretty. Not too bad. I'm going to take a few olives, spread out. Take some of this parsley, put it right here in the center. I gotta go wipe my hands off real quick. Alright, I'm back. Got my hands clean. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna take some of this olive oil and we're gonna float right down here in this trough. A little bit more. Alright. Anyway, I'd say that's ready to serve. And it tastes really good too. Okay, I'm going to taste the hummus now, but just to be fair and admit it's something, the nice pretty plate that I made up, I'm saving that because I got some guests coming over and that's made up for them. But anyway, same hummus here. And I'm going to take one of these green olives. Yeah, nice.